Let's just double check that this is all running. All good. Let me just see if we got the chat behind here. We do. Views 0, love it. Top chat, sweet. That's fine. That's fine. Okay, cool. Hello folks, how you doing? Hope you're well. I'm gonna jump on here and get this glove all sorted out. Today we're going to be doing some work on this. It's a bust of an orc, but I essentially want to get this all dialed in a little bit with regards to some base coats and start looking at some of the shades and colours that we're going to be doing on this, and just really trying it out. I haven't done anything this large before, so we're going to get some stuff together and then see what we can do. But I'm going to actually kind of get a lot of dark tones done today on this. Because there is a lot, looking at the kind of parts of this, there's a lot of darkness in here with the greens and up here as well. And I just want to play around with it and see, because again, it's all about having fun before I kind of start going crazy. So yeah, we're gonna get this kind of on the go. So yeah, I'm gonna just pop that down and get a nice brush. We are going to have a look. I think I've got a size 2 brush, and I'm really just going to start working on some tones of like blues and maybe even some purples in here, in these sort of crevices, just so I can kind of start looking at manoeuvring them from the purples to sort of greens on this as well, on an orc. And then obviously I've got to look at areas where there's going to be shading around here, around the eyes, down the side here, all around the top, in the nostrils areas as well. I'm going to do some stuff in there. It's really just going around and start marking off with some kind of purple to kind of bring that out on the orc's face in general. So yeah, so we're gonna grab the wet palette and we're gonna get some colours on that. Now I've got to find out where I put my wet palette. Here we go, back here. It's been a week because I've been at the convention, so my wet palette should still be good. It is still good. Wonderful. Gotta love a wet palette, but I actually might need a new piece of wet palette paper, to be honest with you, because I think this is pretty full up. So we are going to get rid of this. Yeah, and just a quick little tip, a little bit of copper rod from wiring goes really well. So with it helps cut down on the amount of mold and those sorts of things. And if you put some in the wet palette, it helps dramatically. I'm just filling this back up again with a little bit of water. Distilled water is the bomb for the wet palette. And one of the things that I do is just sink my brush in just to doubly check that there's a tiny amount of water on the parts that need it, and stretch it out. There's a little bit more needed over there on the back. But thanks for popping in, folks. I appreciate you coming in and having a quick look at what I'm doing. We're going to be working on a bust for the foreseeable future, I think, because I've got to refine my display skills a little bit. So that's what I'm going to hopefully work on, and we'll see if we can get it starting to work its way in for what I want it to do. So we're going to grab our paper, pop that on there, and some of the guys that I know have got sort of rituals when they're putting on this paper. Let me move this over to here so you can kind of see what I'm doing. What happens is when you put the paper in, there's like all these like ridges and those sorts of things. If you've got a card, like a credit card or anything that's got like a edge to it, then you can kind of like iron this out a little bit and make sure these stick. They will stick. The wetter it gets, the more this is going to stick. But you can like iron out these thing is stretching like a mofo. I'm going to need to put a bit more water in here because it's not sticking properly. There we go. And you'll see that this soaks up from the camera. You'll see that this actually soaks in nicely. Don't want it too much, but you want it enough so that this paper on the wet palette actually sticks. There we go. Beautiful. All right, and I'm just going to grab a card. I think I've got one down here somewhere, just to smush it with. Yeah, I know what I'm going to do. Let's grab one of these. So I've just got a plastic container, just an old like sleeve of a card. You can literally just stretch this out as much as possible. I'll pour a little bit of the excess water out from in here. Beautiful. All right, we've now got it a workable wet palette that is nice and smooth, and we are good to go. So first colors that I'm actually going to do is kind of like a very, very dark purple color. So I'm going to grab probably dark purple, believe it or not, from Monument. This is bleeding like a mofo. I may have put a little bit too much water in this, but that's all right. It's not too bad. And you'll see, I'm just giving this purple, this dark purple, on the kind of crevices really of a lot of the underside here. We're going to work up and gradient it, but it's just getting it in the grooves. You'll kind of see where I'm putting it in there. Whether it's all fully going to be left in there once I'm done, not 100% sure, but I'm getting it in there because it's a good colour to kind of work up from on this. But it's a very nice undertone. I might be able to get underneath this as well, just on this back end. You're not going to see any of this back end, but and it'll be all sprayed black once I'm done. But I wanted to get it all in there and up in there, so that we can start working on it. So you'll kind of see where these blues are going, this purpley blue. I'm going to make sure I get it in a lot of the areas where I want a very, very finer amount of cold. Any deep shadows, you can kind of start telling where it's going to be going. So yeah, as far as that goes, kind of around that nose area, maybe a little bit underneath here, maybe around the darker parts. I'll see how it goes. So this is what I class as like a pre-color shading, just to get this color underneath and it looking pretty rocking. So that's really on the skin side of things. I'm not going to do too much really with the lips yet, because they're going to be a totally different blend and color entirely as well. I'm probably I may well try and sort of dip it in. Just a little bit around the nose. But I want to kind of just get that purple in there beforehand, just so that you can kind of start bringing that skin, that dark purple skin tone out. So that in itself. Hey Mike, how you doing, dude? Hope you're well, matey. So yeah, we're working on this bust of an orc. We're doing some pre-shading with some purple, because if essentially what I'm going to be doing is going from the purple up to that green, maybe green. I might actually do like a fleshy color on this orc. I'm not sure yet. We'll kind of see. It might be a nice exercise to do on that. But yeah, so I'm just literally getting some colors blocked in at the moment on this, so that I can kind of look at where we're going to go with the colors. So in that respect, it's just getting these kind of dialed into the real cold shadowy areas before we start putting a little bit more warmth in the with the greens and bringing it up, sort of thing. So it's a lot of dark on this model. A lot of dark, because this helmet ridge here, actually gives off a lot of darkness. So in that respect, it's kind of like there's going to be a lot of natural. This part here is going to be in light, but a lot of this is going to be shaded from that kind of dark blue to the green underneath, because the helmet is going to be covering a lot of that natural light. So and then obviously these parts of the nose and all that sort of jazz, and the top lip is going to be very, very bright, because that's getting the natural light in there, sort of thing. So yeah, it's super fun. And as I said, looking at some of the models in at an LVO have kind of made me go, okay, well, I got to step up the value amount on my models a little bit and see if I can push myself more on the display, because the model that I had that was in there was a gaming piece, and it's very similar to this. I've got another piece to work on, which is this guy. This is my potentially a piece for Golden Demon this year. I'm not sure if I'm even going yet, but I've got to work on this as well to get this the values on this up as well, so that I can actually get this kind of looking reasonable. So yeah, that for me, you know, it's very similar. You can look at values and those sorts of things, but okay, so the next, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to kind of go, this is a weird method that I'm going to try out on this model, is actually go to my highlights now, and then I'm going to blend from the highlights all the way down to the lowlights, just because I kind of wanted to see, it's not really done that much, but I kind of wanted to see if the purple, and then if I did a nice bright yellowy sort of green as the kind of highlighty color, and then I can blend from that all the way down to the purple, and then I can do all of the detailing after that sort of thing, because I kind of want to get in my mind all of the lowlights and all of the highlights already sorted out on here, so that I kind of know what I'm playing with. And a lot of people would do this with greys and whites and kind of go through stuff, and I may well go with it with a yellow now, because yellow's an easy color to kind of manipulate and go over with other colors. So I think I'm going to go with a warm yellow from Pro Acryl, and have a look at this and see if it's going to look janky as shit to start with, but I want to see if this process works and whether it's something that I can mess around with in the future and be like, oh, do you know what, on Orcs that really does, you know, kind of hit the spot. So Orc, let's get some yellow on here. I'm just going to thin it down a touch. You can kind of see where I'm at on the wet palette here. I'm just going to thin it down from that consistency. Yellow's easy to kind of work with, but I'm now going to sort of start working on where my highlights are going to be on this model, and I'm kind of going to go there. We're going to get a little bit of that cheek. He's going to get a little bit of it. And as I said, this is going to look janky as shit to start with, because I'm just literally planning out what, where, and how the highlights are going to go on this model. Definitely here, even more so on here. I need a little bit more consistency on my yellows. So you can kind of see really where I'm trying to aim at. All of this will be kind of super highlighted. Nice and bright. This is with a size 2 brush, because it's how I roll. So this is really where I'm going with this. It's just trying to get this. These lips are going to definitely be highlighted. Definitely. Just so I can start planning out really where I'm at with all of these, and where the green is going to be going up to. I have a feeling I'm going to be working on this model for a while, so I want to kind of get it dialed in where bits are and what's going where. Hopefully the noise level is okay for you guys. I want to make sure that the music and stuff in the background is pretty good. So there we go. We got oh, very nice for science. Yeah, exactly, Mike. Exactly. It's for science. Just trying to work out where we're going. You see, the thing for me is these bits underneath here are still going to get shade from here, but they're going to be lighter than anything else. This nose bit is going to be probably one of the brightest parts of this model, because it's that bit that kind of pokes out from underneath the kind of helmet, and then you've got all of this greenery that's going to be here going to kind of nice bright yellow tanny kind of lips, or top lips, if you know what I mean. And then obviously the tongue and everything else is going to be kind of all cool. There's going to be a little bit of a highlight under there, a little bit of highlight on his eyes underneath there. But yeah, it's kind of just trying to get this all set in. There might be a little bit here up here as well. For science, exactly. A little bit up here and around on this sort of area, but not that much. Maybe a little bit of his nose. But I'm alright with that, actually, to be honest with you. It's kind of cool. Nothing else underneath there. Anything else? Maybe a little bit on here. Not that much though. Maybe a little bit in here as well. But it is fascinating doing these, you know, sort of like working out what and how it's going to look eventually, because it's like, this at the moment looks an absolute freaking state, but it's but the good thing about working with yellow is that it's very, very easily covered. So when I actually start painting and getting all of this green underneath and getting this sort of kind of blocked in, we're rock and rolling. But yeah, so this should give you an idea of where I'm at with everything, and you know how kind of crazy this is going to be once this has got going. But yeah, you know, there's like the darker shades, and it's kind of building up with some green. So we're going to get some green now, and we're going to just gently, I've got to work out, I think I'm going to go really, like, rather than kind of crazy, I do like bright yellow green, love this colour. And I also like, there's a dark yellow green, I'm pretty sure as well somewhere. Where are you? Dark yellow green, so it's this one here. So these two are super cool, and I'm digging these. I do like that yellowy green, but I've got to find a real super dark colour that I kind of want to start working up from. I'm just going to see if those three are probably going to be my jam. I think so. I think I'm going to do that. I could go dark with the black green, which is even more dark. I don't know if that's going to be too. Maybe that might be all right. Yeah, I think I'll go black green. So let's stick a little bit of this on there. And we're, believe it or not, going to actually mix a little bit with the purple now, just so I can kind of start. Still got a little bit of the purple on here. Just to get a little bit of that purpley colour, and then we can start. On that real dark kind of green. Sorry, I'm off camera. I apologise. Yeah, just a little bit with that green, and then I'm going to be blending these in with some glazes, so you can kind of see where that purple line is. It just gives that coldness, and I love it. So I'm just leaving the purple in on the edges of a lot of this, and as you can still see, I'm still using an old banged up size 2 brush, purely because it's great for just getting in and getting some of this dark green in there. But leaving a little bit of that purple in there just really does help with the kind of shadow side of this. On that top level. And then I'm just going to be running in where some of that purple was, the green over the top, a thin down green over the top of the purple. So you have just a little bit more of that purple popping through. And kind of start seeing where this is going to be going, hopefully. But I really want to just get some base coats done today in the kind of hour or two that I've got painting, so that I can take a little bit of pressure off myself. And if it does come off over the next month or two, that this comes out nice, then I can bring it up for the open competition on at Golden Demon. So we'll see how it goes. But you can kind of still see that kind of purpley. There's just a little ebb of it with this dark green, and I'm digging it. I really am digging it. I think purple as an undertone for a lot of the dark green stuff is totally underrated. Totally underrated. So This model is a pain in the ass to get hold of. I put a lot of the dark green up as well on these lips, underneath the lips. But yeah, definitely for science. Definitely for science. You gotta love a little bit of going from kind of a purple to a green for science. It's kind of fun, but one that I will gratefully do for the sake of science. But so yeah, we're literally just getting these dark greens on and replacing a lot of the purple that I painted in a lot of the spaces, because I'm going to glaze them into each other eventually, which is kind of cool, and helps majorly with a lot of headache. You can kind of see it on there, maybe not on camera, the change from dark green to purple back to dark green again. So we're going to continue doing that, and it's going to look janky. It's a little bit like non-metallic metals to start with when you're doing stuff like this on such a large scale, but it's worth it because it allows a lot better on the blending side of things. And this black green dries very dark, and that's a really good thing because it will help transition from the black mid-tone that I've got all the way up, and that purple, it'll help integrate a lot of that purple in there as well. So yeah, it's going to be an interesting piece to go crazy on, but we're literally just getting these base tones on and looking at blends from the purple, the base purple that I did, all the way up to some nice greens. And we're not going to touch that because it's going to be that. Nice, smooth colours. That's the name of the game at the moment, just smoothing a lot of this. And kind of getting these glazes going, thinning your paints, and then starting to start glazing this up to where we want it to be. You'll see that there's the yellows that I had up here are nearly gone. There's just a little hint of them in there. We'll work on that. We'll bring that back out again when we're ready, to accentuate these little bits of his jawline, basically. But yeah, so there you go. So that's the dark, the dark black green. Now I'm going to go for the dark yellow green, which is going to be my kind of a nice little mid-tone. And for this, I'm going to start using a little bit smaller of a brush, because I need to start detailing and putting texture in on the skin. So this will be jumping from a 2, which is what I've been using, probably down to something a little bit more reasonable. So let me get my brushes out. Thanks ever so much for everybody that's watching this. I appreciate you. I really do. Make sure you mention yourself in the chat, because I have no way to see who's there and doing what at the moment. Alright, so I'm going to grab a size 0 brush for this one. Rosemary & Co. again, Series 33, it's the bomb. Grab yourself some, they're really, really good. And then yeah, we're literally just going to start working on this. Wet palette automatically gives you a little bit of a thinner, but I'm going to thin this down. There's going to be multiple layers of this needed on this model, so this is going to be my main skin tone. But what we're going to literally do, and I'll do it on one of these little bits here, we're going to just gently start working on these like bits on the skin here, and just really gently just pulling it down nice and thin, so we can start adding texture. And the thing about it is, texture is what this is all about. So you'll see that green starting to get in there, starting to get closer to the yellow that we had to start with. And then we'll start blending in here very, very gently. And then once we've got these together, and we've got a lot of these skin tones together, we can start playing around with glazes to mix stuff together, but also adding more texture. And that is the main thing for me, is making sure that we have enough texture on this orc's face for him to look more realistic as an orc can be, to be honest with you. And so we're just starting to give more and more colour to these areas that are our like initial highlights in the yellow stuff pointed out as being more colour orientated, because I still want to leave the dark shades in there, not have to really worry about them as much. And again, I've got a glaze between the dark rivets down here and the higher levels as well in here as well, so that's going to be kind of fun to do. But again, it's just building nice layers up, thinned paints majorly, and making sure that we're doing small strokes and getting this all dialed in. You can kind of start seeing on that nose that we'll start blending soon. The thin, because you're using very, very thin paints as well, it really does help. But I'm seeing this model really as a learning thing for me to kind of start learning more on certain things, and to also help on a smaller scale, because when you do stuff at this like size, it really does accentuate a lot of the stuff that you sometimes will be doing on a 28mm stuff. So if you can learn it and work out what works well on these models, then you're kind of winning when it comes to your 40k orcs. I like it, it's looking right. blend this in. Thanks ever so much for everybody for popping in. I really do appreciate it. Please make sure you mention yourself on the chat. Just pop into the chat and say hi, because I can't see who's in this. I normally like to thank everybody for popping in, but I can't actually see who's popped in here and not. You can kind of start seeing on that, on the jawline there, and it's just starting to blend a little bit, which is nice. We've still got lots to do. And a lot of it is going to be like crosshatch texturing on here as well. I'm going to stick on Instagram Live and go live on that as well. Awesome, let's do that. We are now live on Instagram and YouTube, so welcome over all of the folks from Instagram. Much love to you guys. Thanks for joining me. Appreciate it. We are getting some bass tones down on a bust that we're going to do of a big old orc boy. You can kind of see there on the camera. I'm going to show it over to there. We'll work what we're working on at the moment. Getting there, it's coming along nicely. Nicely thin paints. The yellow green, the dark yellow green from Monument is very, very good as far as that goes. Hey, what's happening, Primitive Games? How you guys going? Hey, what's happening, YouTubers? How you doing as well? Snow here is completely bonkers. We had record snow for my area. Typical, it really is kind of crazy. I left Wisconsin because I hated the snow and couldn't deal with that in the year that we were there. And I then proceeded to go to Portland last year, back to the Pacific Northwest for work. And we got an ice storm and snow there. And now that I've moved to Florida, we end up getting more and more snow down here. So yeah, wonderful times. I cannot escape the snow. My life is cursed, and yeah, I'm one of those people that I think will hopefully never see snow again for another 20 years after this, which would be great. I'm all right with that. So for everybody that's joined in and jumped in on Instagram, we're working on a bust of an orc, supplied and made for me from my buddy Smuggler's Boutique, and you can have a quick look at where we're going with this. It's just starting to get together on there. The guys on YouTube can kind of see it in a little bit better detail in front of the camera, so we're on that there. And yeah, I hated snow until I recently put a plow in my truck. Now snow makes me money. Yeah, man, that's awesome. You need to move to Wisconsin or something like that. You'll make a killing. Okay, so we've got a little bit of a monotone issue going on here. Which will get fixed eventually. The monotone issue between the nose, this bit here. I'm gonna obviously have to glaze this a little bit to get a color variation. But you can kind of see what I'm going for on these lips. That I'm gonna eventually, I think, mix in kind of more of a gentle kind of like khaki drab kind of color, maybe even up to kind of a bony color for his lips. What's happening, Inquisition? How you doing, dudes? So yeah, so the difference between this and what I'm normally doing, let me show Instagram what we're kind of working on. We're working on a nice big orc bust at the moment for Golden Demon potentially. I don't know yet. Let's just see how we go. But as you can see on YouTube, for you YouTubers that are on here, the gradient change from the dark green to that kind of yellowy color indicates where I'm going to be putting my kind of nicely variated bone drab kind of color. Maybe, I don't know, I might even go pink. You know, we might even start putting some warmer colors in there, like really warm colors, and get sort of like that more human-y flesh kind of color around the lips. And if we do, then it's going to be a nice gradient from the purple that we started off to the green, then back to a kind of warmer color. So yeah, what's happening, Tom's Warhammer Journey on Instagram? How you doing, dude? So yeah, that's really where we're at the moment with this, and trying to pick out some of the little bits of highlight area with this dark green, yellowy green from Monument. But it's kind of nice to be able to get some brushes in on these places and start working on some texture. But inside the mouth, not sure what I'm going to do with it yet. It's got potential to do what it wants to do potentially. Whether I go like a brownie or whether I go super warm and put sort of like some magentas in there, I'm not sure yet. We'll really have a quick look and see. So yeah, really super fun working on this, and kind of excited to see where we can build this up from on the texture side of things. What's happening, Geordie? How you doing, dude? So you can kind of see on this, underneath this, I'm just like literally just giving it a striation because I want to start building some textures up. And with textures on flesh, it's very difficult. So we'll see exactly how hard I kind of go on the textures, but we'll get there. We will get there. It's fun. It's super fun. So that's kind of good. But, what's happening, Kimmy Miniatures? How you doing, dude? We're working on an orc bust at the moment, and trying to get all of this sorted out. Get some bass tones down and some purple in there and all that sort of good stuff. So yeah, good fun, but a bit of a exploratory kind of little view into bust painting and big ass models, to be honest with you, because they are a bit of a pain. But I see myself. Sorry, Dunk, I'm not. I can't let people in on this. I'm streaming on YouTube as well, dude. So I appreciate you wanting to jump in, mate. Another time when I'm just on Instagram, that'd be great. Baby's waking up. Have a good stream, dude. Thanks, mate. Appreciate it. But yeah, so we're just literally chucking colours on this to try and start working out where low lights, highlights, all that sort of goodness is going to be, and then trying to do as much as we can on blending at the moment. There's not that much until I start going really nuts with blends and those sorts of things to really worry about. But while I'm kind of getting these colours down, it's not looking too bad. It really isn't. It's kind of getting there, and then I need to start working out with the yellow what I'm actually going to do with it. Whether I'm going to increase the yellow up to that kind of drabby, bony kind of colour, or whether I go warmer with like a normal flesh tone, really, which I could do, kind of make him look even more kind of normal on it, which would be kind of interesting. So yeah, we'll see how it goes. I've just noticed there's a gap on here underneath the nose between here and on there, and I might need to fill that just to actually make it all fit in, but we'll see how it goes. But right, okay, so that's that kind of that green. I'm now going to have a little look with the bright yellow green and see if this fits the bill for me so you can kind of see my palette here. It's gone from the purple to the dark green to the dark yellow green, and we're now going to hit it with the bright yellow green. But I think it's going to be too dramatic to start with. Yeah, that's going to be way too bright. So we're going to probably mix this with a little bit 50-50, or maybe with a 25-75 kind of mix with the darker green, just so we can get a little bit of a brighter mid-tone between the two. That, you know, you got a dark yellow green, bright yellow green, but we haven't got a mid yellow green, which is what I would love. So we'll kind of see where we're at with it and whether this makes me go, okay, yeah, we can kind of roll with that. Did you Mr. Inquisition, they're gone. I think they were going to have a stream, I think. as you can see, sort of like putting that over the top of that yellow, it covers it perfectly well. It's really, really nice. And we can kind of now take away all of that yellow if we really wanted to, and start mingling it into where we're at with everything else, which kind of looks pretty sexual, to be honest with you. I'm pretty happy with this. You know, this kind of looking, I'll just kind of show you guys on that top lip. What's happening, Sassy Nurglin? How you doing, dude? So yeah, so as far as this, how this is looking on here, as long as I can continue to, you know, maybe work on the blends and the glazes between the models, I think it would be super fun, and it'll be quite stunning, I think, this piece, if it comes off with some nice glazes and as lifelike as an orc could paint up and be. But it's fun, you know, doing painting this big is handy, and I like it. But again, paint consistency of like 50-50, or even, you know, sort of 25-75 mix on the wet palette is very handy. So but I'm just, this is the first exploratory kind of bit for me to check out and see how everything pans out. With this palette choice anyway to start with. Worst case, I can strip this and start again. But on the kind of palette choice colours, I'm alright with it, to be fair. I'm alright. It's it'll get brighter. It's pretty mellow at the moment, even with the colours, because I've gone for a black undercoat here. I could have done a zenithal. I really could have done a zenithal, but I'm kind of just building up these, and then I'm just going to show you kind of quickly, like the bright green of where this looks on this project. Of how all of a sudden this starts to go, Jesus Christ, you know, the bright green layers are superb fun. You'll start seeing more and more. I could probably thicken it up. The camera's not really picking a lot of it up, but you can start seeing it kind of popping on there. But I'm gonna blend these in because it's far too bright for me. So yeah, so we're kind of getting that glow, that glow up. There's still a spot that's a little bit too bright for me. I'm going to dull down a little touch. There we go. You can kind of start seeing on there, if I actually get this in focus, there you go. The kind of blend there to start working on all these colours, which is kind of fun, super kind of fun, and then just pulling more out towards the edge here, which for me is just super fun. Just straight bright green, yellow green. Just picking out where the natural highlights would be the most vibrant on here, which is kind of cool. But there's definitely going to need to be a bit more blending between the greens. Even though the dark yellow green is a good base, it's nowhere near the bright green. What's happening, Boca? How you doing, dude? So for me, it's going to be glazing between the two extremes and make sure that we get a nice, good old mix of everything, and then blending them all in, which is the name of the game really these days. Blending it all in, you can kind of see that I'm just getting a little bit on there. Just trying to keep the job search going. Oh yes, mate. You keep going, dude. I'm snowed in here, so got a 15-point iOS game we're going with. What's happening, Daz? How you doing, dude? Much love, mate. Hope you're well. Seems like forever I've spoken to you, mate. We are currently working on a orc bust for a display competition. I've got kind of enthused a little bit by the competition in Vegas, and I'm now going to try and push it a little bit more on display level painting. Maybe for Golden Demon Open, because this piece was designed for me for a guy that was going to kind of try it out on the big side of things. So I love it, and it's freaking awesome piece. So we'll see how it goes when we're blending shit and getting stuff all good to go. So yeah, all fun and games. Unfortunately, Daz, I'm live on Instagram, sorry, Twitch and YouTube, not Twitch, YouTube and this, mate. So I'm not letting anybody go in because it's going to be reverberating through, unfortunately. But another time, mate, for sure. Or yeah, I'll come off of this in about 7 minutes anyway. But yeah. Otherwise I would, mate. It's just I'm trying to get this YouTube thing done and dialed in, and I appreciate the folks that are wanting to jump in and say hello. That's alright, that's coming out alright. I've still got to blend and glaze the shit out of this. Give me a few minutes, Daz. I'm just going to wrap up this hour on YouTube, and then we will be good to go. So there you go. So I'm really just developing this piece right at the beginning here on this nose, and I'm going to probably try and do some more on these bits up here, a little bit more as well. So that is going to be my next thing, is to kind of try and open up the under part of this orc's kind of jawline. What's happening, AOW? How you doing, dude? We are live on YouTube and on Instagram. So in Dunk, I'm just about 5 minutes away from wrapping this up, but it's progressing on quite nicely actually from when you popped in earlier. And we're going to try and get a little bit more on this display level kind of painting dialed in. Are you not streaming tonight, Dunk? Only 30 minutes. Yeah, I'm just about to finish up on YouTube and for my hour, and then I will probably just come over. You can jump in a second, guys. Let me wrap up YouTube. So there you go, guys. So this is the first hour on this model, getting that purple in, some of the low levels on there, and then starting working on some of these highlights up to where I want to be on the skin tone. So yeah, not bad as a first little exercise in messing around. You can still see some of that purple on the model, and most of the highlighting work that I've done from all of these colors, just these 5 colors on the palette at the moment, just to try to get this worked out. But anyway, I appreciate you all for watching. Thank you very much, and see you next time. Cheers.